Breaking news now, Congressman Steve Scalise is still in critical condition, but his doctors say that he is showing improvement over the past 36 hours. His lead surgeon today saying they have not removed the bullet and bone fragments from the congressman, but they have successfully controlled his bleeding, his internal bleeding. His vital signs have now stabilized, and he is not only expected to walk again, but hopefully to run again. Law enforcement officials telling Fox News, by the way, that the shooter had a list with 6 Republican congressmen on his person at the time of his attack. We're going to take that up. Joining me now, Congressman Marsha Blackburn. She's a member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. And I know, Congresswoman, that you have tremendous, strong feelings on this kind of rhetoric that this shooter engaged in and its influence. What we're seeing also from the left itself in the way of violent rhetoric, violent imagery, irrespective of whether or not they're indulging in themselves in physical violence.
Absolutely, and we all feel strongly about this. And Lou, I think it is time for others, and I invite my Democrat colleagues to join me in this. Whether it comes from left or right, there is no place for this type vitriol and rhetoric in the arena for public discourse. We need to return to civility. We need to realize robust political debates centered on the issues is something that helps us arrive at consensus. But vitriol and hatred does not. It is destructive to that process. And for individuals that hear it, individuals that are radicalized on the internet, this is something that we have to realize we've got a little bit of a powder keg here, and we all need to agree that we are going to tamp this down.
Do you think that'll be persuasive with a Kathy Griffin, with people who are effectively deranged, mentally ill?
Well, I think
the fact is that within 24 hours, the minority leader, Nancy Pelosi, was once again excoriating Republicans and attacking them viciously. This isn't, I admire your aspiration, but I don't believe it's remotely realizable.
I think that we have to realize it is a worthy goal. Yep. And to tamp this rhetoric down and to look at what is happening with individuals that get radicalized when they're following things online and on the internet. We have to realize that we have to do our part. The media needs to do their part also. And you're talking about the Kathy Griffin situation, and the media needs to realize that they have a responsibility in this also. And I saw a list of some of the things that different ones of the TV host and late night host and different ones had said. And it is very sad to me that we've arrived at this point in our society.
Yeah, I'm even, I think we all share your despair at this. What I find extraordinary too is the violence of the unspoken word, the violence of those who would use the law to achieve political ends that are outside our Constitution, our way of life, and American values. I'm speaking specifically of a special counsel that not only was put together by a former fired director of the FBI, motivated to do so out of his own whatever was going through his mind, but those who then put together a conflict of interest. Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, appointing Robert Mueller, who is attacking on the broadest terms for God knows what, this administration. That means that Republican leaders stood silent and permitted it to happen. Congresswoman, you've got to hate that kind of violent political act as well.
Well, this situation with the special counsel is, there again, something that causes a concern. Now, in my opinion, I would think that Mr. Mueller needs to consider recusing himself from this, because with an obstruction investigation, Mr. Comey would be a material witness, and he has a personal relationship with that witness. So I would think that if he is following the rules, he would consider recusing himself from this work.
Right.
Now, I think it's also important to look at Mr. Rosenstein, who says he wrote the memo and made the recommendation that Mr.
He told the
Comey,
president to fire James Comey,
that he would be
and then
relieved.
gets all haughty about the fact that the president then fires Mr. Comey. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Congresswoman, I apologize. We're very quickly, a few seconds left. Your final thoughts.
I think what we have to look at is what has happened with this entire situation, with Mr. Rosenstein, the firing of Mr. Comey, and then say, why are they not investigating Loretta Lynch for obstruction of justice? Because she did give a directive to James Comey, and he followed it.